and they strike a chord.
They're not going to get there with fitness. They've got to get there with guile, position, placement, just everything in their arsenal.
Carey in the goal square on Ingerson. 14-10 to 9-1. They were just about down for the count, weren't they? At half-time, the Kangaroos. Powell, quick little one. And now the Demons go forward again. They have been brilliant through the midfield. McDonald slipped over. Still had time to get it to Powell. That's a bad sign. Kicks to centre half forward. Schwartz can't break the tackle. Farmer, he's kicked 5. He hooks it back. He's kicked 5. He's kicked 6. A half a dozen. And there'll be some more.
The most amazing thing about that, I was just about to say, Bruce, that they're that worried about Jeff Farmer that their best stopper in John Blakey has gone back to pick him up. Now, he did a pretty good job on Adam Uze in the first half. All of a sudden, Blakey finds himself at full-back or back pocket on Jeff Farmer. He's only been there for a minute and a half, and he's kicked a goal.
Yes, and he'd be thinking, welcome to the second half. 6 to the Wizard. 45 points the margin. From the middle again, and White smashes it down towards the half forward.
Oh.
Clayton tries to chop it off, and Schwartz poleaxes him.
That hurt.
The advantage was paid, and the Kangaroos were able to turn it down towards the half forward line. We'll see Nicholson take it to the line, forcing a throw in. Clayton up, that's good.
He earned his stripes there, Clayton. Good boy, kept his nose over the ball, and if need be, he would have won the free kick there. They let it play on to the Kangaroos' advantage. Good fella. Well
the Roos must answer. McKernan tries to pluck it out of the air. Stevens has been quiet. Taken to the line again.
Now, if my memory serves me correct, fellas, I think Farmer now with 71 goals has kicked the most goals in a season for an Aboriginal player, just surpassing Adrian McAdam on 68.
I can't believe he beat you to the punch there, Bruce.
I'm not going to argue with him.
Well done, Rosie.
You're a genius, Rosie.
Well, we'll go to you, Bruce, for verification on that one. How about that?
Is Stevens.
Rosie, keep that up, and Dipper's returning in a hurry.
Stevens kicks towards full forward. Again, Melbourne has the numbers. Jeff White has the football.
Pleading 50 metres here, Jeff White, saying it was spoiled after he marked it. That's what faces him.
I've been working that out all night, fellas, down here.
They've just broken them open like this, just chipped in up the middle again, and they play on from there.
Powell's been very good. Off he goes to Rigoni. Pumps it high up towards Schwartz, but can't get clear, and standing firm, taking the mark as Lee Colbert. Spent a lot of time on the first half on the bench before getting his chance and coming onto the ground. Stevens, you'll get caught, Steve-O! Woden is the man, and he's got him.
Is that holding the ball? Didn't he get... Surely he kicked that football.
I reckon it broke free. I reckon it should have been a play on.
So the Demons go forward. Gergic to half forward. Schwartz and McCartney. Back to Colbert. He personally needs a big half here, doesn't he? Just to give him something from the season. Abraham's been quiet. Simpson, no handball. He had to get the handball to Stevens. He didn't use him. And the Demons, Woden was brilliant. And then arches his back and kicks to Schwartz at half forward. The ball comes off Pike, down to Robertson. All over him, Pickett and Pike ball up.
These kids in the Melbourne backline, Ward, Walsh, all those types of fellows, Collins, they just have no fear of failure. They've got a little bit of experience behind them, enough. Yeah, I reckon that's a play on it. It broke free in the tape. They've just got enough experience to say, we have no fear of what the consequences are here. Let's play it by each moment.
Smash down towards Simpson. Pounces on it, but quicker was Robertson. Schwartz to tidy up the crumbs. Oh, and a little bit of finesse by David Schwartz goes in towards Powell. Put him under the pump. Tried to storm his way through was Walsh. Leoncelli's hand pass too wide. Capuano untidy. May lose it. Look at Rigoni set to pounce. Neitz, Walsh at the bottom of the pack. Going nowhere. And there will be a bounce. But Melbourne on the verge now, as you see in replay. Powell taken down by Bell. Peter Walsh coming through. Still tucked in the forward pocket. There you can see Colbert and Gergic. Schwartz. Powell almost taken high. He was, said the umpire. And And Stephen Powell, who was a goal kicker in the second quarter, he booted 3, now has the chance to add to that and stretch the Demons' lead. I would imagine Kevin Sheedy and co watching this would realise that their biggest test still lies ahead of them. Powell, inside 40 metres, was always to the right and always one behind.
We talk about some of the great camera work. What about the mic work there? Hey, Powley, trying to put him off. It's amazing. You can get 60,000 into a stadium, yet you can still hear the desperation of league players yell out. Pickett does it again, plays on.
Eventually gets his kick to half-back, Capuano. Schwartz, that's the good one.
That's nearly a mark.
I reckon he almost marked that between his legs in the end.
Did he drag it underneath his thighs and hang on to it? That's the question. He sticks out the left arm, uses the body beautifully. Does he trap it under the legs? No, it hits the ground.
Great decision.
Capuano just beats him. Clayton. Harvey got a little push forward. Stevens courageously. Quick kick goes nowhere. Straight to Collins at centre wing. To Collins. Kicks very wide to Schwartz. Colbert courageously back. Schwartz over the back. The big ox has got it. Terrific handball. Well done, Robertson. Walsh running hard. Still Walsh hasn't quite got it. Rigoni does. Comes away. Harvey belts it towards the line. They've got the numbers. Colbert's got a bit of time. Takes control. Handball over the top. And Bell, who played a very good second quarter, on the run. Goes to Carey. He works Ingerson over the top. Can they keep it in? No, they can't. McGurn and Carey between them. It'll be a boundary throw.
The Kangaroos at the moment are hanging on like a climber on a cliff. Just hanging on. If they're not careful, they're going to get absolutely steamrolled.
Hope that climber on the cliff has a better end result, because it doesn't look too good for the Kangaroos right now.
I reckon an avalanche is on its way.
Here's Grant. He's been rarely sighted, but he's not on his own. Kicks towards.
Oh, that's a free kick, surely.
Uzo will come back. You're right, Carey.
He
has one of his rare touches.
He will. Matthew, Anthony Ingerson actually spoiled well early on, but after the spoil, he then tackles him to the ground when he'd actually perfected the spoil.
I reckon he assumed he'd marked it.
Yep. He's done a great job, Anthony. He's kept him with 3 kicks. He's kicked a couple of goals, but this should be number 3.
Just inside 40 metres. Not a difficult angle. Ball to the left.
I think that cortisone he had himself injected with last week, I think we're seeing the effects of that have just about worn off. That hurts, and he pulls savagely to the left to protect that.
Rigoni out of the back pocket. They're playing inspirational football. White to Rigoni. So much run on the legs. To half forward. Robertson. He's been a terrific competitor. Pike all over him. Umpire lets it go. Good stuff here. Ball comes out. Gergic can't get away. The Demons have kept winning all of these contests. Rigoni belts it to Neitz. Neitz was terrific. Got a fist on it. Bell, who's been easily the best player for the Kangaroos, gets it to Archer. Archer kicks to centre half forward. Harvey should take the mark. He does. Carey runs on. Well done, Phoebe, to hold him up. Carey comes short. Harvey goes very short to the pocket to David King, who kicked the first goal of the match, sprays it a bit, and coming in late, Capuano belts it over the line with White. Small reward now for the Kangaroos, 9-3 to 15-11.
I think Mick Martin's probably finished for the night too, fellas. He's not even stretching up with the other guys down on the boundary line, so obviously his shoulder is a lot sorer than what we first thought.
What a turnaround for the Demons. 16 wins in 98, just 6 in 99, and they're now back travelling very smoothly, looking at 17 so far and still going.
They just take them on all the time.
Take them on and meeting them. Walsh with a hand pass away towards McDonald. McDonald through the middle now, kicks up towards half forward. Floating attempt to mark is unsuccessful, and McCartney comes clear. Tried his heart out as he kicks up towards the half forward line. Abraham at the back, a chance. is swamped immediately. Nicholson going through. Phoebe is there, almost thrown out to Ingerson. He's claimed by Makepeace, and umpire Brian Sheehan decides upon a bounce.
It's amazing that they just are relentless. They just take them on with their foot pace in the back line every time.
They've had a couple of chances, the Kangaroos. I mean, you'd think even the half chances they need to make the most of to have any hope of getting back in the game.
And there's a sobering thought for Kangaroos players and supporters. Melbourne have won 20 of their 23 final quarters this year.
And the average winning margin of their final quarters, 40 points, 39 points.
Leoncelli round the body from a full-back. Simpson dropped it. Here's Woden. He's been dynamic, Woden, tonight. We're toying with them now. Donald almost down to centre wing. Looks towards half forward, towards Neitz. Pickett runs into Gergich. Could be gone. Demon fans cry as one. Powell. The advantage is going to be paid. Powell's away. Puts it out in front of Robertson. If it sits, he could be in business. Cleverly done. Tried to go back to Uze. Gave away a little ground. Can go back to Robertson again. And he does.
You know, he's worked hard, Russell Robertson. This will be his first kick for the night. He's only had the 5 handballs, but he's created a couple of goals with his contesting. He's worked hard in defence as well. And look, he was one that tapped it out originally, then he created a bit of space, and it's nice to see him actually get a kick reward.
As we speak, Travis Johnston is back on the ground, and Russell Robertson.
He looks like he's actually lost a little bit of his spring over the last month. Whether that's a confidence thing, because he hasn't had a great deal of the footy.
He's kicked 4 goals in his last 5 matches. He kicked 39 for the year, but he has dried up late in the season.
Here he goes. From just on 40 metres. The goal umpire does not move, and Demon fans rise as one. Robertson kicks his first and becomes the 9th Melbourne player to kick a goal.
40 goals for the year for Russell Robertson, which is a good return, but as you call Bruce, he's got 5 in the last 5 games now. He has dried up. I definitely think he's lost a bit of spring. Even here, he just keeps his feet on the ground. Normally he just jumps straight into the oncoming player, take a big play.
Demons have kicked the last 7 goals of the match, and they lead by 50 points.
I think they're a chance to kick the next 7 too, Bruce.
Well, the Kangaroos have had a couple of chances in this quarter. You reckon they won't give up, but it's overwhelming the odds now. And a free kick to Melbourne. Just the push there. Phoebe, who's just having a terrific night. He really is.
I reckon that Kevin Sheedy be sitting in the stand thinking, I thought this team was capable of this.
I reckon that, keep to Schwartz. I'll get back to well done, Woden. He has been superb. Light's handball was ambitious. Well done by Colbert. Got it to Bell, got it to Simpson. Shannon Grant's had a really quiet one. Goes to Carey, tries the half volley, shoved out of the way. Nicholson on the up. Kangaroos get some numbers around the ball. Can't do much, still can't do much. Ingerson's handball to Walsh. Walsh's kick will bounce inside and then bounce out. Just a quick one on Phoebe. His long-time partner Louise Dobson was involved in the torch relay here. Yep. She didn't make the Olympic team. She was a gold medalist in '96. I'm sure that family is really tight at the moment, and Phoebe will try to go all the way here with his mates.
Rigoni, Nicholson, and to the line.
Isn't that amazing? You can hear these blokes screaming. That's the desperation of a league football. There's 50, 60,000 here, and you can still hear the combatants yelling at each other.
50 points the margin. 10 minutes remaining in the quarter. Smacked out the back to Powell. He's been influential. To centre wing. Robertson overruns at Pike and Bell. The latter, a short kick taken by Travis Johnston. Goes inboard, and that's okay because Robertson is there. You're going to have to be quick, Russell. And he is in towards the 50. At the back is Woden. Here he goes. Shane Woden caught by Simpson. Uze's lurking, so too is Farmer. And eventually a bounce is the decision. So the old rockers in the Kangaroos lineup feeling the pinch. And speaking of old rockers, KISS fans informed us today that Gene Simmons, that great bass guitarist, turns 51. Could be happier than the Kangaroos at the minute.
30 metres out. Farmer can't get it. Blakey belts it away. Stevens and Johnston back to White. Still with White. Into Johnston. He's a goal kicker. He'll fancy it. He kicks it terribly. Dropped it badly onto the boot, didn't he?
Well, he's nearly kicked that off his shin to get the ball to turn like that. He may not have actually put leather on leather then. It could have been stock on leather.
Now, I'm staggered here. Well, there's Woden. He's just been consulted by the doctor. Gene, we're talking about centre-half backs, not lead guitar players, Sandy.
Off the ground by Pickett.
Gene Simmons.
Harvey couldn't stop it. White goes back. Walsh has got plenty of time. Out wide. Looks good. Leoncelli goes for goal in the pocket. Robertson's got it.
This could be brilliant for the kid Robertson. The heat's out of the game. We're just starting to exit. And he's just starting to find a ball or two. And he's been the one guy, even though they've been good over the last month, he, as you call Bruce, he's flattened off. And if he can just take a few grabs here, find himself in a bit of form, that'll go well. Take the goal. Take the goal, son. Take the goal. Yep. He's out-fumbled everybody here. He has to have a shot. Well done.
Can he kick a second? Missed it.
Interesting that he'd go for a straight drop punt rather than run out and try and hook the ball around the corner. But at the moment, look, they're winning that much ball, the Demons. They're almost toying with the Kangaroos.
16-12. They've had 28 shots to 12.
David King.
And the KISS Army.
Straight down the ground. Oh, Jeffrey White, the big flyer from the side. Couldn't take the mark through the arms of Walsh. Colbert's away, but there's been a whistle. Coming back, and it's going the way of Melbourne. Everything's going the way of Melbourne at the moment. Phoebe has it. Spearing it into half forward, and they're toying with the opposition now.
Leoncelli, give it to him.
Gergic is 55 out. Leoncelli's ignored.
I think he fancies himself to make the distance from there.
I think they all want to make sure they get a grand final berth from here, Jason.
He kicked one in the first quarter. Farmer's in the square. Gergic is going for home. It's a long kick. It's just about there. It's marked right on the line by the man who's having a purple patch. You played on, Russell. You did play on. Tried to get it across to Farmer. Gives a little ground. Melbourne may lose it here as Peter Bell bounces his way across the half-back line. Changes direction. Spearing it in towards centre half-back. And the mark is taken by Harvey. Not a lot on offer. Well smothered by McDonald. He gives it to the Wizard. Doesn't blaze away. Chips in towards full forward. And the big fly at the back by Neitz is going to be paid, and he'll shoot for goal.
Well, I'm not quite sure who the kick was intended for. Jeff Farmer chipped the ball over. It might have been Robertson in space as well, but in the end it was a little bit too long. There was a 2-on-1 for the Demons, but David Neitz, he just took the set.
In the meantime, Schwartz is off and Green is on.
Just saw the Carlton coaching panel, Sandy, looking on, and no doubt the Bombers are similarly, but Big Jack reckons tomorrow's the grand final. I reckon Big Jack might have to eat his words.
Again. Neitz. Almost directly in front. Didn't exactly have his kicking boot on earlier in the night. Started off with 3 behinds, but has now kicked his second goal.
Tell you what, if they're not in the best 2 teams in the comp right now, I'll go he. And they're on their way. They've seen enough.
They've seen enough, yes.
It's hard to imagine that they won't be competitive next week, whoever lines up against them.
This has worked out the way it should have. If you just go back over the last 10 weeks' form, definitively, Melbourne have been the second best team in the comp.
They've had a spell. They haven't exactly had their brains belted tonight.
No, fresh.
Carey's gone to the back line. The Carlton coaching panel, by the way, have just left. But Neil Danaher's not. He's going to savour this. They're on their way to a 3rd grand final in 37 seasons. It's a long time between some drinks there. Off the ground by Collins.
Gee, it's interesting the positioning of Carey now in defence on David Neitz. It's almost like saying, I'm real worried the floodgates are going to open. We've got to do something to stop it. I mean, they've all got their fingers in holes in the dike at the moment, but you just think the pressure's going to explode.
Wayne Jackson and Ron Evans, surrounded by their wives here tonight, the chief executive and the chairman of the AFL. Colbert takes the mark at half-back. What's up in front? Softish kick to centre wing. Archer did really well there, just got rid of his man. They've just got their pride left. There's nothing else in there for the Kangaroos. They can't win the match. Nicholson draws it away. The one thing their fans don't want, and they don't want, is an Essendon blowout that they had 2 weeks ago. They've just got to try and hang on to something. They've got to get something out of this match now. Bell, who's been terrific, his little left footer rolling away.
I think it'll be important for Dennis now. The kids who are in the team, they've got to stand up. Clayton on screen there. I mean, he's had a reasonably good season, fell away near the end. They've got to get blokes like Cochrane, Makepeace. Those types of blokes need to stand up in this last quarter and a half. Give them something for next season.
Kicks towards the forward line. Makepeace will try and soccer off the ground. He may have to go again. It's taken to the line. And we've got another throw in. Daniel Ward taking it over.
Just feels now like they have played their grand final last week. They're flattened.
There's Pagan and his panel. As Harvey takes it to the line.
Sorry, Sam, it's been a long time since they kicked a goal, the Kangaroos. It would be a fair way to go in that second quarter since their last goal.
Yes, it's all been one-way traffic, basically, as McKernan tries to flick it over the back.
Good hit.
Nicholson can't get cleared. Johnson gave a little bit of a nudge. Flicked wider again, an opportunity for Grant. A high ball in towards the forward line. Smashed down in front again. They will tidy up through Ward. Comes bouncing away to Jeffrey White. The big man steadies. Looks towards Travis Johnson on half-back, and he's got him now. And the Demons will run again. They started on the last line of defence, and they got Adam Uze with a left foot, spearing it in towards the 50 now. Trying is Robertson. He gets claimed. Colbert late on the scene. Neitz had it spent a little early. Goes again. Carey rides him into the ground. But look at the pressure. The tackling is fierce. Melbourne will come away with it. Gergich's kick is smothered. Uze breaks the tackle. Steadies. Shoots towards goal and misses to the left.
Gee, that's unusual for Pikey. One thing he can do is put the bear hug on you.
He just rode the tackle well, Adam Uze, didn't he?
Spun with it, and I reckon a bit of grease and a bit of dew falling out there. Let the hand slip off him.
I wondered, Dermot and Jace, what your thoughts on Wayne Carey to centre half back at this stage in the game? What's to be gained about that move?
Don't know about it, but I reckon Jason would have thought when he said just stopping the floodgates. I'd prefer him as loose man in defence. He deserves the compliment. If somebody's got to set it up without bodily pressure, it should be him.
Kick to centre wing. The mark taken by Collins to Johnson. A loose man everywhere in front of him. Takes a bounce. Takes a second. Gets to about 50. He's going to have a shot for goal. It was ambitious. And misses. He had men in front that could probably have got a bit closer. That last goal was 17 and a half minutes into the second quarter for the Kangaroos.
Adam Uze has a spell. Anthony McDonald back on.
17 minutes into the second quarter.
Ooh, that is a long time between drinks.
As Neitz coming over the top, smashes it down in front. Burton, but straight to Rigoni, back to Neitz, 51 metres out. Just pumps it in hope more than anything. And David King marks on the last line of defence. King chips wide at a Clayton. He's on the half-back line, kicking towards centre wing, and Shannon Grant will look to come inboard on that left foot. Goes towards the half-forward line. The defence has been good. Scholes in front of the pack. If there'd been a whistle for holding on.
Yeah, free kick against McKernan. He got caught behind and he basically just tackled his opponent in Nicholson to get the front spot.
He's just gone about his job quietly but very effectively. Collins in towards Ward. Got the call and now they're going to run it through the middle. He's got Johnston there if he needs him and he uses him now. Travis cruises up towards the half-forward line. Neitz is caught behind. McCartney takes a fine steadying mark.
Had a dig. He's had a dig, McCartney.
Blakey wide on half-back. Kicks up over the centre. And I guess at some stage in the next half an hour, you've got to ask the question, who is playing their last game for the Kangaroos? There could be some who will hang up the boots.
You would think that this is significant of the end of an era, so to speak, a power era. Will they trade significant players as well?
Powell, Woden, Leoncelli all over 20 possessions for the Demons. Bell, the only Kangaroo who's had 20 plus. Green, who hasn't seen a lot of the match tonight, run down by Carey, ball up.
It'd be a thrill for Brad Green. He was the hero a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden he finds himself matched up by Wayne Carey in a preliminary final. That would be a buzz, wouldn't it?
Oh, I would have thought of better things to get a buzz from, Jason.
Well, knowing you're going to win the game, Dermot.
Yeah, true.
Free kick to McKernan, I think.
Thinking, here's the best player in the competition looking after me.
Yeah.
You'd pinch yourself, wouldn't you? So McKernan, he started promisingly, but it's all dried up for everybody. To King. King measures the kick to Scholl. Got it.
Yeah, he's looked dangerous. Whenever he's been on the ground, Jason, he's looked dangerous.
He's kicked a couple. He's lining up for his third.
And if they can afford the match up there and get Collins on him, he outstretches him in the air every time.
It's almost a kick for dignity now, isn't it? They just need one, don't they, before three-quarter time. Goalless in this quarter. 17 minutes into the second quarter since their last goal. Scholl keeps it low. Pretty good kick. He's kicked his third. He's earned his stripes. Might get himself another season, Sandy, because he's just done enough, hasn't he? 17 goals to 10.
Another protection here. David Neitz coming to the bench during that goal attempt there, and David Schwartz going back onto the ground. So Neitz, he has a rest, and we watch Scholey pop one through from 49. He is a beautiful kick of the thing.
And what a huge bonus it is for Melbourne to have the luxury of being able to rest those guys you can see on the bench now with the game well and truly in hand.
Yeah, the ruckman, the captain, and Uze.
And Woden out of the middle yet again. Here's Shannon Grant defending. It's his teammate who may give it away to Powell. Powell steadies. The floodgates are opening. Powell goals. Stephen, you've got number 4.
He's played some games, Stephen Powell, 21 possessions now, 4 goals, 2 he's kicked tonight, and they could have raffled that. I mean, there were 3 players that could have picked up the loose ball. You have a look after the tackle is made on Colbert by Green. He's got Gergic right behind him, Robertson to the side. I mean, they could have raffled it.
4 goals to Stephen Powell, and that one was his 50th for his career.
And Sandy, he's got 29 of them this season. He's been one of the recruits of the year, coming from the Bulldogs in the big swap. There's the Kangaroos bench. Stevens and Martin and Capuano have all won dual premierships and Big Spider in his first preliminary finals. So it hasn't been their year. Bell got it from Harvey to Simpson to Scholl. Good mark in the end. It's a good grab.
This will test him.
Yeah, it's right on the limit, you'd think. You'd have to have a lot of adrenaline flowing through, wouldn't it?
You'd only want one player in the square and he'd want to be shepherding it through.
Could he kick a 4th? He's been a bit of a shining light and a cameo role tonight. Got under it. Not going to make it. Or is it? It bounced back in, I think, and hit Peter Bell. And goes through from behind.
And spun like a lob wedge, didn't it? Just sucked back off the turf when it basically was bouncing right on the line.
Well, we
How
called
stiff
it.
are you?
It had to clear the bloke who was being shepherded under it.
Well.
Yeah.
This just...
Oh, that's stiff.
Tiger Woods couldn't have sucked it back better than that.
Oh, I think he could have. Powell at half-back. Tiger can do anything at the moment.
He's kicked a torp.
He goes to the outer side with that torp. Archer leads in the race. The Norm Smith medalist of days gone by. Not going to get another chance this year. Up towards the half-forward line. Ward and Walsh crunched. Taken high. And he's going to get the free kick on half-back. Daniel Ward gesticulating a little. It's the last thing to worry about now with a grand final just a week away. Takes the kick towards Simmons. The big man marks on the half-back flank. Simmons will have one of the last kicks of the quarter. In fact, it is. He won't even worry.
Well, Dennis is playing for pride, just as we were looking at that last kick. He had nowhere to go and chip it across the ground. Everybody was man for man. He's even thrown the match theory out the window here. He sent the runner out and said, get a man each.
A 4-goal quarter, Dermy, for Melbourne. The Kangaroos battling with just 1 goal, 3. And Melbourne, the body language telling the story. There is a purpose, and they know that they're just half an hour away from their first grand final since 1988, and just maybe their first flag since 1964. On the other hand, Pagan and his men wondering what on earth can we do.
They're just going to shuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic.
So 58 points at three-quarter time. Here they come. There's just not much left to do for them, is there? 122 to 64. The Demons totally in control. And as it certainly looks like they are in to their first grand final since 1988.
Here in the back line, they're saying they're just going for a bit of pride. Do it for the jumper.
So the final term, the Demons, you'd reckon, are half an hour away from a grand final. Walsh's quick kick, a bit up and under. The numbers were with the Kangaroos. The ball runs away. Rigoni tries to spin with it. Abraham's been very quiet. Produced some magic last week against the Hawks. And there is a free kick to the Kangaroos.
Slung after he got rid of it, Winston Abraham.
Comes out wide, kicks it well to Carey. Carey at about 50, decides to go for it. He's kicked it very, very well. And they've got the first goal. Carey's kicked 3.
Just loitered down the other side, the other flank, as the ball got pushed through a lot of heavy traffic. Winston Abraham won the free kick, and that's where all the traffic was between him and the goals. But Wayne Carey ambled down the opposite flank, ambled to the kick, and
he turned around and started jogging back to the centre as soon as his follow-through was complete.
Yes,
that was unbelievable.
That was 4 runs as soon as he struck it.
3 to Carey, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and now that one as White wins it, but it's McKernan out of the middle, down towards the half-forward line. Abraham claim, ripped to the ground. McDonald applying a tackle once again. It comes back to White. Had the height, but that was all off to McDonald. White held, and he's going to get the free kick. Been very good. He's such an exciting player. Goes wide at a guy, Rigoni. Rigoni looks towards Neitz and Co at half-forward. Green was there as well. Schwartz, clever little poke over the back. That was clever, but the tackle was good too. And Brian Sheehan comes in and decides it was a line ball, will have a bounce. Green was locked up, locked up very well.
There should have been a free kick to Jason McCartney in that contest. David Schwartz stretched his jumper about 1.5 feet.
25 metres out from the scoring zone. Schwartz locks it up once more. McCartney at the bottom.
Archer's gone to centre half forward for the Kangaroos.
Simmons has a spell. And the big men for the Kangaroos also resting, including Matthew Burton. King tumbles a punt to the outer side. Blakey and Uze. Uze and Blakey. And Travis Johnson swooping on it. He glides, but he gets caught by Archer, who gives it to Clayton. Around the body, he bends it up towards half-forward, and Kernan takes the mark. Wants to go on with the job, Corey. Plays on now, eludes one. 65 out, he heads towards Scholl, who marks strongly in front.
Outstretches Collins again on the lead. Tell you what, they've come out with a bit of venom after three-quarter time. I wouldn't mind making a bet that Dennis has given an ultimatum here. And a few people have had it laid on the line because they have got teeth again, the Kangaroos, for this opening 3 or 4 minutes.
Scholl's one who hasn't been disgraced. He's kicked 3. Carey also has 3. Peter Bell has 2. Both of those came in the second term. Carey has 1 so far this quarter, and now Scholl has got his 4th.
Well done, Scholl. McKernan pushed pretty hard through that play as well, Jason, on the ball, and tried to exploit.
He did well. I mean, he wanted to move it on quickly, so he just took the gamble. Took the man on the mark on and then kicked it long. Interesting with Craig Scholl, We don't know whether he's going to play on at this stage. He could very well retire after this game. It'd be nice to go out with 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 goals next to your name.
Strung a couple together, haven't they, the Kangaroos? Good on them. Anthony Stevens, what a shocking year he's had at the start of the season with that bizarre and tragic accident to him early on, and he's been on the wrong foot ever since that. He's done a great job even to get back. Terrific vision by Rigoni to Woden, who loads it up. Could Jeffrey Farmer take a mark? He was up very high. Down to Carey. What did you say last week, Sandy?
Outdoors and cross-check.
That's it. Yeah. Shannon Grant, who's had a very, very quiet night. He was terrific last week. He's had an average year.
8 possession, that.
And he hasn't had a good night tonight. But last year he won the Norm Smith. Well done, Archer. Bell and Abraham. Abraham possibly could have left it for Bell. Bell on hands and knees. There's still a bit of pride and spirit here, isn't there? Makepeace gets it out. Johnny Blakey, 50 metres out. It's a good kick. It's going and going. And Craig Scholl, has he taken the mark? He has. He's going to kick 5. I tell you what, right now, somebody in the crowd would think we've still got a chance. Somebody out there would be saying, yeah, we can still do it. Does anybody up in the box agree with them?
I think they can still win this quarter, but that's about as far as it goes. But look, he's been sensational. He's actually really exploited the height difference there, hasn't he?
He kicks his 5th.
Well done, Charlotte.
Well, I know they can't win, but this is good. It's really good for them. They're showing that great spirit that they've been renowned for, aren't they?
There's a little bit of Carey know-how in the middle of the ground as well. He's got the possession to kick the goal. He got another deft little touch inside defensive 50, and it just set it up with composure. Whereas in the second and third quarter, they were under so much pressure, they just blazed away forward. Carey's given them a bit of composure in there now.
40 points the margin. One of their veterans, 32-year-old Craig Scholl, bringing them back, and some animation from Neil Danaher now, who's really had it in cruise control for some considerable time. Rigoni out of the middle. Oh, taken high was Daniel Ward.
Ingerson's gone to Scholl down in the back line as well.
Jason mentioned earlier, fellas, too, Scholl is a maligned player and he does get taken off a lot. He spent that nearly the whole third quarter on the bench, yet he still kicked his 5 goals.
Yep.
Ward kicks long, up towards the half-forward line. Rigoni was lurking, but he didn't get a chance at it. McDonald used the body nicely for Walsh. He's clear. Look away, hand pass. Woden, you deserve a goal from a standing start. He pumps it long, but away to the right. 41 points the margin. Shane Woden has been sensational tonight with 19 kicks, 8 hand passes and 6 marks.
Has he done overstep?
Yep.
And he's gone over.
Let's have another look at it.
Does sum up the night for David King and the Kangaroos.
Oh, yeah.
Craig Scholl,
in the square.
Sorry, Sandy. Craig Scholl has a new opponent in Brent Gergit. Matthew Collins has come off.
Right in the square. Schwartz leaning. There's another one. Oh, the youngster's done it again. He's enjoying this caper. Green gets his first. 4 against Carlton wasn't enough. Let's keep it going.
He'll ring up his mates in Tassie and tell them it's pretty easy, this league caper. Let's watch it work its way back to him here. And it just bobbles up and a quick snap over there. That's from the thick of the woods, that one.
Got a goal from nowhere, didn't he, Green?
Yep.
Official attendance 63,937. That's a great return. The AFL will be pretty pleased with that. Terrific turn up. Robertson marks between centre wing and half forward.
10th possession coming up for him.
He's got Powell on his own.
Shannon Grant. As a backman, I wrote about it a couple of weeks ago. He's a good all-round player in the midfield, push forward, but as a backman, he just gets lost. And he got well forward of Powell, and and just lost where he dropped in behind him then.
What a game he's having. He would have played in a preliminary final of the Bulldogs without this result. He's into his first grand final. Can he kick a 5th goal? He's kicked it terribly.
Missed everything.
He's actually, for a bloke that's kicked 4 goals tonight, he's had some shabby kicks, hasn't he? But he's had some good ones as well.
Tell you what, the ones that are going through, he's given a ride to.
Here's David King. Oh, David. The last couple of minutes have not been memorable for the man wearing number 34. And here's the Wizard.
He won't like that. He'll want 50 there. He's not going to get it. And look at the space around the mark when we go to it again. Yeah, never eyes for the ball, Peter Bell, but pretty soft in the end. Yeah, right decision just to keep him there. There's a lot of space around the man on the mark, Byron Pickett, and Jeff Farmer normally would run around, but if there's one bloke in the league he won't take on, Byron Pickett.
2 in the first quarter, 3 in the second, 1 in the third. And now to the last quarter. Home, 1 in the fourth. 7 without a miss for the Wizard.
Well, Kingy, the last 2 times we've touched it have been errors. It was poor little Peter Bell to try and come back and work some pressure onto Jeff Farmer.
He's kicked a few bags this year, Jeff Farmer, hasn't he?
5 times he's kicked 7 or more. That's a huge return for a small forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 110 goal a year, man, isn't it? Yeah, go those Demons. Go those Demons. There's David King, who's just having a really bad patch for him. He knows it. And Farmer kicks his 7th goal, and as we said earlier, 5 times this year he's kicked 7 or more. Matthew Lloyd's the only other player in the competition that can boast such a record with those high numbers this year. So it's been a tremendous return by Farmer. And the Demons march on. Walsh out of the centre. Overrun by Schwartz. Pike gets it back to Simpson. Simpson kick, good one, to Abraham. He's got a couple of shorties. He's going to go to Shoal. Good mark. I mean,
he's in form.
He really is.
It's ironic. He is in form, isn't it?
He's always been a very good leader. He reads the ball well and he leads hard and direct. Marks the ball well out in front of him.
Remember, the players pushed him back into the team last week. They had their choice, we were told, and they wanted Shoal back. They just can't get the right matchup for him, can they? They've tried a few.
Well, Ingerson's gone to him.
Well, what an extraordinary little tale it'll be if he can kick a 6th here. King kicked 7 a couple of weeks ago when they got hammered by the Bombers. Because Shoal kicked number 6. It's a good kick.
That's beautiful.
He's kicked 6 goals. 3 of them in the last quarter. I mean, if somebody told you at the start of the match that Craig Shoal's going to get 6, you'd say, how far did we win by?
Yep. It's a bit like the lone hand performance up forward of David King a couple of weeks ago when he kicked 7.
He's actually played the position exceptionally well. He's let out when he has to. And pretty safe hands. He double grabbed that one, but he made it safe before he took it on the chest. Bang, and back down there.
8 goals this year, Sandy. He's got 6 tonight, so he's almost doubled his score in one night's work.
Carey back at the other end of the ground. Here's McKernan. It's a horrendous bounce for them. Picked up by Powell. It's a high ball. White gets underneath it, jumped just a fraction early. Makepeace could have been taken high. Powell sockers off the ground and goes straight to McCartney. Oh, well smothered by Powell. But they'll get another chance. Lee Colbert's on the end of the hand pass. Colbert comes around the body towards centre wing. There was Woden. He is knocked up winning that ball out of the centre. And Archer had no other intention other than taking that straight over the line. What a game by Shane Woden, the master in the middle tonight.
Watch out for the Ox coming through. Lands on the shoulder first. Good decision by the umpire.
Archer a little poke to McKernan, tries to soccer off the ground to Bell. Peter Bell caught and well caught. Walsh loses it and Makepeace gets his kick hurriedly. Up to the half-forward line, big pack of players. Waiting down is McDonald. Gets the hand pass away now. Trying to chop his way through was Rigoni. Gives it off to Travis Johnson. Clever with vision, he goes up towards the half-forward line. Powell's having a purple patch, bending it back for Gergic. If it sits, he's in business. Watch out, because the Wizards in town. Caught this time and loses it. Pickett has a victory. Pickett gets clear, and the Kangaroos away to Blakey on the outer side. The 34-year-old pumps it in towards Abraham, who marks in the middle.
Jeff White off too, so you would think he might be finished for the night.
Yeah, Roosie, just give him a spell. Let him rest for next week. Abraham, a big kick up towards the forward line. Strong mark, taken by a strong man in Glenn Archer.
And when he worked Phoebe under the ball there, Phoebe's a running player of around 6 foot to 6'1". Archer, the 6 foot mark, just a shade under, but plays like he's 6'3". He was always going to win that once he controlled the body duel.
Looking for his first goal of the night. Recently joined the 100 club as far as career goals is concerned. From 25, he makes no mistake. Archer gets his first.
See what, the old pros are standing up, aren't they? I mean, they're done, we know that, but the professionalism in them is coming out in this last quarter.
Well, they're one goal away from kicking 100 points now. I mean, halfway through the game, you would have said they'd be lucky to score 60 or 70 points the way the game's going. So at least they have got themselves going.
I mean, Scholl and Archer and Carey have all kicked goals in this last quarter when the game's been done. They're just giving themselves something to take off the ground, aren't they? Jeff White, who's walking back towards the race.
Doesn't look totally free in his movement there.
Well, when they made their last drive towards the finals in '98, he got injured in the preliminary final against the Kangaroos. He took an injury into the game, so he's just a must for next week. To be fit and well. Leoncelli, Clayton, Powell over the top, picked up by Bell. Terrific tackle by Johnston. Good decision, I reckon, in the end. Allowed to play on. Archer was hard at it. I think it's a free kick to the Demons. Gergic, is it, or Rigoni? Rigoni, yep, Rigoni.
Got a little poke in the eye, did he, or something?
Looks a bit concussed.
He stumbled to Brian Sheehan there. I think Brian Sheehan went for the, hands off.
I think
he's a tough kid. He must have got a good clip. Oh, yeah, that is a solid hit. That is a real solid hit. He is a genuinely tough kid, this boy.
So Guy Rigoni obviously concussed here.
Point of the shoulder, bang.
So as Rigoni comes from the ground, the game goes on. Robertson around the corner. Schwartz, McCartney. McCartney was good against the Bombers when they got slaughtered. And again tonight, he's battled away, hasn't he?
I reckon he's won his position. I think he's been good value again, Jason McCartney. Guy Rigoni coming to the bench. Collins returns. He'll have a go at the other end this time.
And every little thing from a Melbourne player's point of view in the last quarter is important for next week. You would just hate to have something that's going to stop you from playing next week right now, wouldn't you?
Jeff White on the sidelines. Guy Rigoni on the sidelines. McCartney and Schwartz both using their strength. Powell has been very, very effective. That one was high. It'll be a free kick. Makepeace. Blakey. The new and the old. John Blakey gives it away to Martin Pike, who's running across half-back. Thought about changing direction, then flicks it high up towards Carey on centre wing. They all come over the top, and smashing it down was Peter Walsh. Picking up was Pickett, who tumbles a punt to half forward. Chopped off once again by Ward. Done pretty well off to Uze. Uze, chip over the top, just going short. Short but effective to McDonald. Melbourne came into this game with an unchanged lineup, a settled lineup, and the one-handed attempt by Robertson not paid. It looks as though they, at the moment, will come out of this game unscathed. Oh, Farmer clever to Powell. Very clever by the Wizard. Finish it off with a goal. Look at this. Bend it back. Back it comes. The Wizard is in town. And he'll be there next week. Centre stage. Oh. What a nice way to finish.
Well, he may not be finished yet, Sandy. He's got 8 to his name now. And you look, he was involved in that play a couple of times. He knocked the ball down. He got the ball back from Powell, and he's finished well tonight. He hasn't wasted any opportunities.
Clever little flick, wasn't it?
Bit of body language. He really willed that one in, didn't he? And then he salutes the crowd again.
Even if it didn't go through perfectly, he was going to get an angle where it did go through.
He's been sensational, hasn't he?
Yep.
Absolutely brilliant from the first few minutes of the match.
He took on the bloke who mastered him last time.
So he's chasing Gary Lyon, who has kicked 10 goals in a finals match for the Demons. So he's only 2 behind the record, the club record for the Demons.
Schwartz out to King off the side of the boot. Walsh and Ward, gee, they're a good couple, aren't they?
They just run so hard, don't they? And look, even the kid Collins, who's had some goals kicked on him at the other end by Scholl, when he's at half-back, he just takes on the opposition as well, and he will run forward. So you're getting value out of him, even when he's had a few kicked on him.
McCartney and Schwartz. Stevens and Walsh.
They're flamboyant backmen, aren't they? They just have a dip at going forward. There he is, Walsh. He's a good player.
At the back was Colbert. Bell's been terrific. Stevens in short. Grant back to Bell. Bell's little kick forward. Neitz in front of Carey. Carey got hold of him. Neitz his handball away. Abraham, and he got it hassled away. McDonald to Phoebe. Phoebe goes with a little one, and Robertson got in. Good stuff by Melbourne. Keeping their head late in the game. Going to the right option. Really professional effort here by Phoebe, wasn't it?
He just held onto the ball until he worked out that Russell Robinson had turned Cochrane around and then came back at him with the lead.
And Dermot, you reckon that every goal Robertson kicks tonight is going to help him? Ragoni's back on too, that's terrific. Every goal Robertson kicks tonight will help him for next week.
That's where the real value for the Melbourne team is at the moment. Get there. As a forward line, they've got a few big cats up there, Schwartz and Neitz. Whether they need to use Schwartz down back line in the grand final is dependent on the opposition, one, and secondly, if Robertson can regain his early season form, it gives them another bigger option. He's not a terribly big bloke, but he plays tall. It'll give them another string to the bow above the head in terms of marking prowess. Farmer's going to be Farmer. This is just pure value for the Demons. If he can get some confidence up here, come back home.
The Kangaroos' season will be over in 7.5 minutes. Simmons doing the ruck work, taken by Makepeace out in the middle, wide to the outer side in search of Harvey, but he's beaten for it by Phoebe. Well, he's going to enjoy this. He's going to get another chance to play in a final. He's the only one left from 88. Travis Johnson is caught. He's the young man who'll get the chance to play in his first one as well. Blakey gets the hand pass away. Up towards Carey, tried to edge out with the body, but was unsuccessful. Abraham through without the football. Melbourne start on a roll again. It's Schwartz out in the middle. Oh, look at them coming down the ground. Peter Walsh goes inside once more. Back it comes to McDonald. McDonald gives it away to Uze. Uze slams it towards goal, but he's away to the left.
Had several candidates out wide to receive too, but just threw it on the boot.
Do you start to worry now, fellas, if you're a Kangaroos fan, out of the 22 picked tonight, there's 14 over 25, and if you look at the Demons, there's only 6. Where's the next tier of Kangaroos players going to come from?
Yeah, good question, Paul Roos. 1 goal 4, incidentally, to Adam Uze. McCartney comes back in. Simmons with the height, pokes it back to Travis. Here goes Travis Johnson. Well-burning pass, and Robertson again is going to get the chance to show his wares in front of goal.
Neitz has gone to centre-half back. Now, in a grand final, he might be used there as well. So Neil Danaher's giving him a little bit of backline prep in case that is the situation. Oh, that is scrubby, isn't it?
It's very kind of you to call it a worm-burning pass too, Sandy.
There are a couple of other adjectives I could have put in.
Now, I hope the kid kicks it. Look, this is the buzz at the moment. Whether this kid can find form, whether he can get confidence out of this and go into a grand final thinking, I'm a man.
He's had 6 kicks, 6 marks, 6 handballs, and he's a demon.
The 21-year-old Tasmanian is kicking for his 3rd, and he's missed again. That is 2 goals, 2 to Russell Robertson. 22-17, plays 15-4.
Zones up. That's really protecting the corridor here. They're conceding it out wide. They get picked off up the middle.
Goes out wide, but the numbers are with the Demons. Belted away. Harvey's little give. Make pieces kick. Blakey has to wait underneath. You know that he'll be courageous, and he is. Play on call, was it? Handball comes back to Harvey. Harvey's handball clever enough to Archer. Archer at centre wing, goes to centre half forward. Scholl front spot. Belted away by Ingerson. Well read by Abraham. Nowhere to go, though. Carey comes out. Doesn't come out with it, though. Hands and knees, push forward. Demons with a chance. This is where they've been so good. Johnston gets it from Powell. Johnston's kick. Could Rigoni run onto it? Makepeace tries to get it. He does. Little handball away by Clayton to Pike. Now he's got a paddock in front of him, Pike. One bounce. Not sure. Runs a fair way. Shannon Grant provides a Shepherd. Front spot was Scholl. Ball comes to Archer. Archer hooks it back. Blakey's going to get a late goal.
Now, I've been watching Blakey for the last few minutes. He handballs over.
Scholl's going to get 7. Scholl's got 7.
I've been watching John Blakey for about the last 4 or 5 minutes, and he has worked tirelessly. He's run through the lines from half-back all the way through. And once again, on this play.
We saw a shot of the bench a moment ago, and we saw Capuano and Burton on the bench. I've got to tell you something that's worried me for a lot of the year with the Kangaroos. They continue to play 3 big men. McKernan spends half the game in the ruck. You've also got Burton and Capuano. Now, if you look at their stats tonight, and it's been a familiar story for a lot of the year, Capuano's had 3 possessions, no marks. Burton, 2 handballs, no marks, no goals. It just limits the versatility of their bench, and you maybe think perhaps an extra runner would have been better. They need either Burton or Capuano to stand up as their main ruckman, to alternate with Corey McKernan and not have to use the both of them.
They don't get full return from a player for, say, Capuano. Limited time.
Sandy Powell's had 6 centre clearances tonight. Woden's had 5.
This is pretty tame stuff we're seeing between Shannon Grant and Anthony McDonald.
They've been effective, haven't they? Powell and Woden.
And Walsh comes in.
So McKernan stands his ground. Johnston got a bad bounce, but Travis goes again. He almost got it out. Speak of the devil, here's Powell once more, ripping it out of the middle down towards the Wizard. Couldn't take the mark, an effective spoil by Lee Colbert. Sees it over the line.
I'll tell you what, he's a rare left footer, Stephen Powell. He's not a pretty kick. Most of them are. Yeah. That was a dead set mongrel, that one that he kicked forward.
Now watch the whiz here, because Byron Pickett is limping, and I reckon the whiz could explode if the ball makes its way out the back. We could see him run onto it again. He's definitely hamstrung at the moment through some injury, Byron.
He's got 8 at the moment as Farmer, and look out, he's tucked on the line. Doesn't get any space to produce that little bit of magic. Cochrane taking him to the line. In front of a huge Demon supporter base, we've got a throw in. Farmer lurking down in front, Pickett right there with him. Schwartz trying to poke it down his throat. Oh, through his arms to Gergic. Back to him again. Can he sniff another one? Oh, so close. And his first blemish of the night. 8 goals, 1. He could be dragged for that.
He blotted the copybook.
8 goals, 1, Bruce.
Poor old Byron can't get out of a trot at the moment.
King floats it. Hands by Blakey. He's had a good last quarter, Blakey. You reckon he's putting his hand up again? I want to go one more year, Dennis. I'll only be 35. Little kick by Archer. Out wide. Here's the other bloke that's putting his hand up. Scholl to the pocket. Left foot bouncing. Well done by Ward. You can see that Ward and Walsh have got an insatiable appetite for the footy, haven't they?
Yeah, they run with it.
They're on here. McDonald to Johnston. So confident, the Demons.
They use up every player, don't they? They're not scared of just chipping.
Back to Walsh.
And again.
He'll push it wide to Leoncelli. A methodical build-up. Schwartz slipped at the wrong time.
I reckon he's got thongs on.
McCartney belts it. Could Scholl get an 8th? Well done, Ingerson. Tackle comes on. Push forward. Neitz' little handball to Walsh, to Neitz. Neitz through the centre. Good kick to Robertson. He's got him out wide. Can he turn Cochrane inside out? Cochrane hasn't got him. Robertson's kicked 2, and he's kicked a 3rd.
Well, as cocky as that sounds, I'm glad the kid's doing that, because what we want to see is his confidence go up, Russell Robertson. We want to see him enter a grand final thinking, gee, I am important to this side, and I've got a bit of form, running into a bit of form, and it's made for me.
The good thing, they're all going to feel good about themselves next week.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
about every player is going to go in confidently. The whole team will feel good about themselves.
Should have made that one stick too, Stewie Cochrane.
And coming straight off as a result. He just tried to tackle too high. You've got to be a little bit closer to the hips, around the centre of gravity.
Margin out to 56 points. Neil Danaher, a wry smile. As I said earlier, went to the movies today. I wonder what he saw. Gladiator. 56 points the margin. Blakey out of the middle gives it away. They're still hanging on, the Kangaroos, as Archer will have a shot at goal. Almost 50 out, but with only 2.5 minutes remaining in their season.
He had 5 possessions in the back pocket until half-time, Glenn Archer, and he's lining up for his 16th now. He's looked better up forward in the last quarter.
One goal to his credit. That was kicked earlier in this term. He kicks from 48. That's a lovely looking kick for goal by Glenn Archer. He's got his second. So Archer joins the multiple scorers, take out Craig Scholl. Scholl, of course, has had an excellent game with 4 goals in this last quarter and 7 for the match.
26 possessions to Peter Bell. And you take him out of the midfield, which is what some people are suggesting might happen for season 2001. And if this is their final side, they wouldn't like that going into next year.
Well, they're in front in the last quarter. You talked about Dermot at the start of this term. They'd love to win the last turn. They've reduced the margin by 8 points. Been a lot of goals kicked. Ball coming back. Stevens and Schwartz. Schwartz, good vision. Clever. Johnston wide. He's interesting with the ball, Johnston. Sometimes you wonder if he sees the first option. Leoncelli certainly does. He belts it long to fall forward. Green from the side. Pike. Well done. He's got Blakey. Said before, having a pretty big last quarter, John Blakey. Have a look at this.
Got a bit of pace still.
To Archer. Run down by Ingerson. Phoebe.
That's a 4-on-2 there, Bruce.
Woden over the line. The 2 respective coaching panels. Just wasn't the Kangaroos' year. So many things went wrong at the start for them.
Yep.
From Anthony Stevens, Ryan Pagan, which put Dennis under enormous pressure, I think, early in the year. Martin Pike, a couple of indiscretions. They just never got balanced up, did they?
No.
Pike misses it, gets a second crack, belts it hard and high. Scholl front spot, Ingerson all over the back. Simpson tries to carry it forward. Ward at the back, finds the line. Boundary throw.
Craig Scholl just 1 goal away from rewriting the club's record books as being the leading goal kicker in a finals match outright. Carey, Allison and Scholl have all kicked 7 goals in a final. Here's Simmons and McKernan. Corey is frustrated.
Yeah, he paid a shepherd there. He held down Simmons while Blakey came over the top.
So Troy Simmons to take the kick. 22-year-old from Box Hill heads towards the centre wing in the sliding ox. To half forward. Up towards Robertson, who's just growing in confidence as this game progresses. He's called a play on now. That one wasn't one of his best kicks, although Abraham may lose it. He goes again, Winston, and he threw that out with the one hand. Well, that's what it looked like from here as Neitz takes a diving defensive mark across half-back. He'll steady to the outer side. Melbourne through Daniel Ward has the last kick, and the Demons are back in a finals race, back in the grand final. Their first since 1988, and a chance to win their first flag since 1964.
Good spirit there between the two clubs.
Yep.
Some good stuff.
Well, they're two Melbourne-based teams who do it tough.
Spare a thought for the Kangaroos, just maybe the end of an era.
Okay, Paul Roos is with Shane Woden.
Yeah, Shane Woden down here. I thought the coaching staff did an outstanding job during the week. Everything seemed to go to plan during the game.
Yeah, we knew North will come out real hard and tough at us, and we just had to combat that early and make sure we play, attacking footy and be hard at it all day and play 4 quarters, and it paid off.
And obviously your fitness, I thought your midfield game was outstanding tonight.
Yeah, we relaxed ourselves to play 4 quarters of footy, and we had a hard pre-season. We worked our way through the year, and as a group, it's been magnificent.
And what can you say about old Jeff Farmer down there in the forward pocket?
Oh, Wizzy, fantastic. He hit 9 or something tonight, but been great, and he's electrifying. He gives us the boost too.
And obviously you haven't had much chance to think about it, but it's going to be a big week. Been a long time for the Demons. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and 88 is the last grand final, and the boys deserve it, and we're going to give it a good shake next week.
Terrific. Well done. Great game tonight, and good luck.
Cheers.
Well, maybe this Craig Scholl's last game, you'd reckon. What a way to go out. 7 goals, being carried from the ground. What a great servant. 2 premierships. And it looks like this is his grand finale.
Yeah, that looks like a clear indication that he's told the players this will be his last game. And at least that's a memory he will cherish. I mean, to kick 7 and to join Wayne Carey and also Brett Allison as the Kangaroos players who have kicked the most goals in a finals match, that's a great effort by Craig Scholl.
And for Dennis Fagan, well, it wasn't his year in the end, but a 7th consecutive preliminary final.
He's coached well over the last 2 weeks. Don't worry about the result tonight. He coached brilliantly over the last 2 weeks.
Jeff Farmer's with Paul Roos.
Yeah, Jeff Farmer, mate, the week's break did you the world of the good.
Yeah, no, it was good to have that week's rest. Look after the body. A few of the boys had a few sore spots. It was good to come out tonight and show that we're going to be real competitive, and hopefully it'll carry us on next week.
And obviously you probably would have expected Byron to pick you up again and probably had something to prove against him after last time.
Yeah, well, last time was very disappointing. I lowered my colours to him last time we played him, so it was good to get a bit of revenge, but full credit to the midfield, our back line. We've been very underrated this year. Everyone's doubted us the whole year, and now we're into a grand final and anything can happen.
Yeah, I thought your midfielder game was outstanding. It must make it obviously easier for you as a forward with the ball coming down so quickly.
Oh, exactly, mate. We haven't really got too many stars down there in the midfield, and the guys just going about their business. They get the ball down to us, and tonight was no exception. They were able to get the delivery of the ball to us superbly, and we capped it off.
Well done, mate. Good luck for next week.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Paul. So next week, 21 of these men will play in their first grand final. Only Stephen Phoebe was there in 1988, right in the centre of screen. They were terrific. And whatever happens tomorrow, there's a contest next Saturday. That is for sure.